All right, everybody. It is Richard Barker, the incredible hypnotist. I'm happy to be introducing you to one of my good friends in a few moments, Tom Nicoli. Uh, in the meantime, please make sure you type in the chat where you're from. I've got a few people actually already chatting in the box. I've got Rick Rozak, Jackie Peel, Corey Blanchett. Uh, Jackie is in Connecticut. And if you have just joined the live stream and wondering what the hell my face looks like right here, I have these the hypno spiral going on in my eyeballs. But don't worry, you don't have to see me like that forever. It's just for the shits and giggles, as they say. We got Sarah Williams in the house. Good to see you, Sarah. All right, so here we go. It's another week. Last week we had Dr. Will Horton. For those that missed it, we had some really good information about NLP and hypnosis and all kinds of stuff. And Will told his story about overcoming addiction and helping with addiction. And today I'm excited to introduce a man that I met. I want to say about 10, has to be about 10, 12 years ago at a thing called the National Guild of Hypnotists. I think that's right, NGH. And met this young man and immediately realized that he's definitely one of the movers and shakers in the hypnotic world, and somebody that I know I needed to get to know on a deeper level. And it's a pleasure to bring Tom Nicoli on in just a moment. So if you have any questions for Tom, make sure you type them in the chat, and I know Tom will endeavor to answer. One thing Tom definitely is, he is a straight talker. He basically tells it how it is, and that's the style of hypnosis I like as well, and just in people in general. So I am about to introduce the stud, the legend, the hero of the hour. Would you please welcome Mr. Tom Nicoli? How you doing, my brother?
Hey Richard, how you doing, mate? Good
All
to be
right.
with you again.
Hey, all right, my friend. We were just chatting off broadcast, and what I like about you is that you just have not changed, my friend, since since I think the first day I met you. You're the same Tom Nicoli. You know how sometimes people change and they kind of, I don't know, they get weird. They all get, you meet them again later on down the line. All of a sudden they've got completely different views, and different, they've, been in tune with themselves or their higher being. But you're the same Tom I've met back in Massachusetts.
Well, we all change, some significantly, some for the better, some for the worse. But I think what you're talking about are the people who believe their own press.
Yeah,
Uh, and I have changed where I've actually become a better version of the guy you know,
that's
doing a lot of work on myself, deep work.
nice.
We hear of these ceremonies with shamans in the rainforest. I think people know what I'm talking about, and they can change your life.
Yeah.
I've done over 11 of those ceremonies. When I dive deep, real deep.
Hang on, you've done your own shaman ceremony? What
Mhm.
does that even mean? Can you explain a bit more of that?
Well, it became almost trendy, though this is to be respected and honored, where people were doing ayahuasca ceremonies, using it as the vehicle to remove borders and boundaries and to reconnect to the true dimension of what we're from. And when I started working on myself, about 10 years now, with a master herbalist, after I had my physical issues, I didn't take any prescriptions. It was all master
Oh,
herbalist.
is that right? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's synthetic stuff your body doesn't understand. So let's find out what the real stuff is from the earth and put that in the body, and you'll heal much better.
Yeah, yeah.
So, along with the healing physically, it was always spiritually and emotionally and, ego and all that stuff.
Mm.
So I become I think, a better version of me, which has proved itself in the results and the outcome of my lifestyle.
So, okay. So let's just backpedal then, because you're saying that you've used a lot of holistic sort of healing and the shaman, and the nutritions and all that. So take people a little bit back. What happened to you I mean, I've known you for a long time. You're obviously a fantastic hypnotist, and we'll get into more of how you got your start and everything in a minute.
Mhm.
But since we're down this line already, um, So tell us your sort of, what happened over the last few years and where you're at now, because I know you've had some major
Okay.
major things happen.
So life was amazing. I had national fame, all that Dateline NBC stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I was doing 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, 105 sessions a week,
Wow.
because all I knew was work, right? So
Yeah.
fast forward, I'm living in a way that I used to dream of because I grew up pretty much with nothing.
Mm.
Real old school blue collar Boston triple deckers, as they're called, Goodwill Hunting, just
Yeah.
like that, mixed a little bit with the Goodfellas. So, you know, always believed, but never experienced the outcomes that I was creating in my mind, right? Co-creating. But I get to a point in life where everything is phenomenal. So I decide at 50, and actually, what's today? Monday, Wednesday, I
Yeah.
turned 61.
Oh, wow.
But when I turning 50, I decided I'm either going to stay in the situation I'm in or I'm going to move on. So I mentioned it to my wife at the time. And we spent a year mediating, very mutual separation, divorce. Then just after that, that was September. In January, about 10 years ago, I had somebody at the house from New Jersey, and I had a house in New Hampshire. And we're recording some music. The last night he's there. He's there for a week.
Who was there? Sorry.
And because I have a studio at my house
Okay.
wherever I live, a music studio, right? Being a musician. So the short story is I said, that's the song. And I turned quickly with a wine glass in my hand, my left hand, and I fell face first. It shattered, cut up my thumb,
Oh,
and
wow.
my face went down on the stem and it went up through my left eye and almost into my brain. So I had said to him, I jumped up, I put a towel over my face, and I said, I'm going to tell you where to go. We're going to get stitched up. We're going to come back and record that song.
As you
He
do.
says, I don't think so. I go, yeah, come on, we'll just do it. Before I know it, I'm ambulanced into Boston from New Hampshire, Mass Eye and Air. Now, hours later, they finally are going to operate. And the doctor says to me, hey, look, we have to talk. You're not going to see out of that eye. I said, okay. He said, you can drive legally. And I said, oh, well, that's great news. He said, and people fly planes with one eye. And I said, well, that's even better news.
Yeah.
And he asked me why. And I said, because I can't fly one now. So he says, I think you're going to be all right. Now, you can go on YouTube and type in my name, and up will come a bunch of videos. And one of them, Telman Knutson is introducing this campaign they had to
Yeah.
try to save my house, man, because it was really brutal as far as what I could do, what I couldn't do. So I'm in the hospital, Johnny, still with the white tape and the metal patch over my face. And I just got out of the car. My son had come and picked me up. And I was thanking everyone, incredible love, incredible support. I
Yeah.
mean, it was amazing. I found out how many blessings there really are. And I said, ironically enough, in that video, that I recently bought a domain, mastervisionary.com. And
Wow.
with less sight, I'll have more vision. And
That's
that's how
crazy.
I went about it, man.
So you lost sight in one eye,
Yeah.
almost lost your house,
Mhm.
went through a breakup situation, or is that right?
Well, a mutual divorce, we
Mutual divorce.
mediated.
Yeah, yeah.
We're still, friendly. She
Yeah.
says I'm the best guy on the planet.
And then
So we're good. Nobody did anything wrong. It
yeah.
was just time. It was one of those things.
And then
And
reinvented you
24 years together.
yeah.
But I believe in growth. I believe in moving on. I believe, in you got to stay with me or I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. There's a lot of
And go ahead.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't be able to do what you've just done. That's the first thing. So obviously you have a very strong sort of positive outlook, and that might come through hypnotism or just because of who you are.
Yes, the hypnosis of hearing a parent say the same thing over and over in repetition and compounding a suggestion.
Right.
My own man, I asked him once as we got older, I said, how did you do it? Like, how did you roll out of bed sick with a flu where I can't even tell you my name and I'm crying like a baby?
Yeah.
Guys
Yeah.
don't do sick well. I
No.
said, in putting cardboard in your work boots, working outside and breaking your ass, he goes, what am I supposed to do? Roll over and die? So I learned you just suck it up, cupcake, and you
Yeah.
do.
So you had a good, yeah, you had obviously good role model there, teaching you to pick yourself up.
Yeah.
And
Well,
move
also
forward.
in the work we do, right? So
Yeah,
now I've been doing this work, have international, let's call it fame, but notoriety, let's say.
yeah,
And everything that we share, well, let me say it this way. I practice what I preach.
yeah.
I apply it. So I know it's a choice. Every single thing's a choice. I also believe, and I think very universally, very big picture. And I believe that as it's dealt to me, I'm to play that hand. And
Mm.
it's to see what I'm made of. That's what adversity is. It's not a tragedy, it's a challenge. It's not hard. That's the opposite of soft. It's difficult and it's a challenge, but we overcome challenges and it shows us what we're made of. And the benefit for me was people, and I didn't know, I always said I would, but when I got tested, I did walk my talk. So it created a stronger perception that I am who people think I am, I guess, right?
It's so important that you walk the talk, because I think that's helpful as a hypnotist when they see that, you pivot, you transition, you do what you say you're going to do. But when you say you're going to help others, it's all about helping them reestablish or recover themselves from something holding them back. And obviously
Exactly.
that's how you've transformed. Um, Tell me a little bit about the new business. I can see the logo behind you. Is it Master Visionary?
Oh, Master
There
Visionary.
we go,
Yeah.
coaching. So
Well,
what is
Master
that?
Visionary coaching. And it's to get back in touch with the Master Visionary we were born as. And I didn't even share how I got Bell's palsy and my left side of my face and left arm were paralyzed for a long time. And
Wow.
I couldn't eat or drink or talk. Again, that was 3 or 4 years after the eye accident. And that was way
Was
worse.
that related or something completely
No,
different?
no, that was Bell's
Unrelated.
palsy. They say almost a guess where they say it was triggered by a tick bite, but I don't have any Lyme disease.
Wow.
So whatever. I mean, that phrase shit happens. Well, oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. But none of us go unscathed. How are you going to respond when your boat's in the river of life and the white water's ahead of you? Are you
Oh,
going to try to jump out? You're going to cry, or you're going to dig in and get wet?
it's the response to the. Yeah. So you're responding to your ever changing dynamics of the universe, the world, the globe, where you live, what you're doing, and you can't
All
change
of
it.
it.
So you got to groove with it, right? You got to get on and deal with it. And internally, I think if your self communication is strong inside, externally you have a stronger way of dealing with it. A lot of people,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time with me.
but
I mean, I went from doing those 105 sessions a week and then time went on and things changed. But now my whole model is I don't work as far as session work, and a session to me is an
yeah,
hour.
hypnosis session.
20 would be the maximum that I do in a week, yet
Yeah,
I make more money than I did back then doing 105 sessions because I've learned about models and programs and systems.
right. So, quick question from Jackie here. How are you, Jackie? Good to see you. How can you hypnotize yourself to implement positive suggestions? She said you probably went over this already, but we actually haven't. So, it's a great question because it's kind of segueing in a little bit to almost what you're saying. How can you hypnotize yourself to implement positive suggestions?
I think that's a deep conversation if we really look into it.
Yeah,
We can say, in the short form of this, that you don't. That in that situation, in order to remove the blocks that are in the way, we're better off working with someone. One of the things that hypnotists especially make as a mistake, I believe, is thinking they could do it all on their own.
yeah,
But this is why, people have coaches. Like I say, why do you think Michael Jordan and Larry Bird had a coach?
yeah.
Because you don't know everything. You can't see everything. So if you were to do some work to clear out the real sabotaging elements, which is the past, and it's what my whole mission is with this master visionary bit, that you're being held hostage in life by your past, by what's between your ears. And we need to free that up to end limitations in order to live an explosively expressed life. So once that's been addressed, once you do the work, well, then you can maintain self, right?
Mm.
I truly believe that we don't really do the work on ourselves efficiently, but we can maintain the work we do. So that said, let's say we want to do it ourselves, then it's nothing more than consistency over time. And that's how life is. Trial and error, scientific method. The only failure is in doing nothing. If you're in action, you're improving, you're learning, you're growing, you're developing, and that's what this thing is all about, called life. So it would be a consistency over time of, say, an audio system. that you create yourself. I have somebody create for you with specific language, but then again, you got to know whether the language is good or not, or you just accept that it's good and hope it is,
Well, on that
and
bit
it
just
isn't
there,
always.
how would you know? How would you know what language to use? Like,
Well,
what
that's what I'm saying,
suggestions?
right?
Yeah.
So either somebody you trust or you've learned language patterns. Because I remember in the beginning, and this is one thing, the veteran hypnotists who dump on people for talking about scripts, shame on them. How the frick did everybody begin? Come on, let's be honest here. And sometimes I even say, and I'm in this 20 plus years and I've gotten pretty damn good at what I do, but I'll think, there's that Jacob Bimblich script that's awesome
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah.
Why rewrite it, man? It's there. But unfortunately, people go out there and they scour up all these free scripts online, but they don't know if they're good language patterns.
Right.
So the first thing you should learn are really powerful language patterns. Never mind all these techniques and whatever else. But if your language patterns suck, then your whole system sucks.
So then you would record it for them. Is that right? They're going to get like an audio.
Yeah, or if they're seasoned professionals, they are ahead of the game here. Record their own, and then use that consistently. Then there's visualization with the 6 vital keys. I wrote a report on the 6 vital keys when you visualize, and if any of them are missing, excuse me, you reduce the effect of the potential manifestation. It's amazing how many people visualize without the emotion,
Yeah.
or
So
visualize with doubt. It's
yeah,
like you just negated it.
yeah,
So there's a combination of things, right? But yeah, I think the problem is people, especially with technology, have become lazier. They look for instant gratification more than ever before, when the true laws of nature and life haven't changed. Time and effort over time, consistency, and the application will bear results.
yeah. I agree with you. I think that scripts can be good for a hypnotist. For somebody else, for that matter, you can get a script and you can actually you can somewhat speak to yourself, which is your own affirmations, your own self hypnosis. But if you want to take it seriously, you're going to need to, obviously, as Tom said, have someone that you trust, that is an expert, that has edification, that has the credentials, that has the you know has a proven history. It's almost like going to the brain surgeon, and the brain surgeon is taking his coat or her coat out of the shrink wrap bag because it's their first day on the job. You just might not you might not want to. We're all got to start somewhere, but you just might not want to go there. uh,
Yeah.
Gisley, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Gisley says, can you learn something you never learned? That's an interesting question. Can you learn
Can you learn
something?
something you never learned?
Yeah,
Hopefully every day.
like
But
language.
unfortunately, people are living in the 90-10 rule, not the 80-20 Pareto principle,
Yeah.
the Italian economist, but the 90-10 rule of 90% of thought patterns, speech patterns, emotional reactions, and physical behaviors you have are repeated. 10%, say on average, is unique and new. But the whole idea is each day to have new experiences, new developments, new information. And better to find new information internally than reading it and digesting it and regurgitating it. But each day we should be better than the day before, which means we need to learn something new. So the beauty is we are such an open hard drive with so much, disk space. We couldn't learn enough in a lifetime to fill it. But that's what we should be doing daily.
So, do you have like daily success habits, or do you have like a daily ritual? Do you mind
Yeah.
sharing what that is? What do you do daily?
Okay. So when I wake, I spend the first hour in meditation. Call it whatever you want, meditation, self-hypnosis, fill in the blank. Then when that's done, it's yoga with Adrian on YouTube on the big screen in the
Oh
living
yeah,
room.
nice.
That's for a half hour. Then after that, it's downstairs in the exercise area, exercising for 30 minutes. Then it's Wim Hof breathing technique after that. And then it's shower and then let the rest of the world have a piece of me. But because of my new systems and approach to everything I do, when people say, I know you're busy, well, I guess you don't know anything.
Yeah.
because I am not busy. I do not spend my time being busy any longer. I've learned to be much smarter than harder, as we say,
Yeah.
and I will not put myself in that position ever again to be distracted from life and doing the American thing of grinding and earning and spending and having, when now I spend anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a day outside, whether I'm reading, just barefoot in the grass, um, just chilling and meditating, playing my guitar or listening to music. But I'm outside a lot,
So
a
you're
lot.
you're what you've done is you're still busy, but you're busy as on yourself more than you were before because you can't be
But I'm
busy
not busy.
with all
I'm
those
just able
clients.
to use my time selectively at a
Yeah.
very chill pace.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And I've done that too. I was working a lot, and COVID is kind of almost like a bit of a blessing in disguise because I was never home for any holidays, never saw a July the 4th in my own state, kind of thing.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
always on the
Hmm.
road, and my dog
Hmm.
always was in dog care or had a dog sitter. And yeah, I mean, the years rolled by, and I'm just on tour, not really taking care of myself
Right?
and seeing clients. And now I'm the same as you. I have a daily ritual. I don't really have anywhere close to as many clients as I used to, and that's through choice. And I don't
Yep.
think I'm going to take the bookings that I was taking. You know, even when the world gets back to normal, the show is not going to be the same show
Hmm.
in the same quantity because it's just not good for you. You know,
Yes,
too
it's the
much.
bullshit story that people bought into, especially in our culture.
Yeah,
It isn't about work as much as you can to buy as much as you can, because we're just borrowing stuff. We're going to just leave without anything.
yeah,
I got hip to this. It was, gosh, I want to say 2007, maybe. I had a sheikh from Dubai fly me over to Paris to do work with him. Here's a cool one. I only ended up doing 2 sessions with him, and I got first class treatment for a week and a driver over in
nice,
Paris and 10 grand in cash.
nice. Nothing wrong with that.
I want more of those gigs. But I came home and I got dropped off, at the bottom of the driveway, and I walked around. You had to walk around and down this brick walkway to the pool area.
Yeah,
And I go in there, and my ex was well, at the time I was married, with her brother and his wife, which I loved. I loved people using the place. And I thought, wait a minute, I need to be here more often. Now, what happens with a lot of couples when they're very used to one being home and one works,
yeah,
when the one that works is home on days when they're normally at work, usually it's the husband. The wife will go, "What are you doing here?"
yeah.
Well, I heard that. She goes, "Well, what are you doing here anyway?" I go, "What?" She goes, Yeah, you're supposed to be at the office." I said, "Listen to me. You better get used to this because it's going to be happening a lot more.
Yeah.
Why are we working the way we're working? Or why are we learning what we're learning to apply it to earn some income? And why are we earning income? So we can have the support we need financially to do the things we want to do in life, not to put it away and use it and let other people enjoy it while we just keep working and then live and die in regret."
And not to store it. Yeah, not to store it because tomorrow never comes. You know, there
Well,
might
then
not
you
be a
get a
tomorrow.
shit belief system if you're storing it and hoarding it because you don't believe it's constantly coming.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So I got a question from Adam. Adam Jason, good to see you, my friend. Says, I would like to know when you put someone under hypnosis, do you use the word under?
Never. You
No,
don't put
neither do
anyone
I.
under anything. You put them in. You guide them into the state of.
Yeah, because putting someone under is almost like control
Well, plus
under.
it's not accurate.
Yeah,
People enter an altered state, but that happens when you're in a mall staring at something. It gets startled. You entered an altered state. We guide them intentionally.
yeah. So I'd like to know when you put someone under or into hypnosis, and let's say you put them to deep, and you give them a hypnotic threat, and they don't wake up. What should I do?
Is this serious?
Oh god, excuse me. That's not COVID, by
Bless
the way. That's just me sneezing. Well, you have to you can't get quote COVID through live stream, so you're lucky.
Yeah,
You know when you
I don't
sneeze.
buy into the press, so don't worry. We're good.
I was at a bar the other day. Not that I go to bars much, but I was there the other day,
Yeah, right.
and someone sneezed, and you should have seen the people like run. It was like
I know,
crazy. People
right?
ran away. So
It's
Jason's.
crazy.
So I
It's
think
crazy.
here's what Adam is saying. He's saying So when you put someone under into hypnosis, into a trance, and they're too deep, hypnocoma kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's saying, you give them the hypno threat, which is, get them out of the trance, and they don't wake back up. What should you do? That's the question. So I know what
Okay,
he's
well, there's
saying.
no waking up. All
Yeah,
right. That's why I was asking if it's serious. You
yeah,
don't
it
wake
is.
up because you don't go to sleep.
Yeah.
So emerge, come back to complete conscious awareness. Okay. There was only one time I had real difficulty. I mean, I've had to repeat myself and say it louder or clap my hands or something
Yeah.
like that. But when I was doing those crazy hours, the big dig in Boston was happening. There was, shifts around the clock,
Oh yeah.
restructuring all the roads and tunnels in the city of Boston. So I would have people come off the construction site at 7 a.m. That's when I did my first session. And this guy got in the chair and, oh, yeah, he went for a real ride. I shook the chair. I banged on it. He's all over the recliner, and finally he emerged, but he actually went to sleep. So I learned from then on to engage them, just saying, take a deep breath as you hear my voice, and just nod as you hear me. And as long as subconsciously they're still with you, then they'll do that. And that's all you have to know, that they're still engaged. But I just got louder and I moved the chair more, just like I was trying to wake
Yeah.
up a kid in the
Yeah.
morning to go to school that doesn't want to get up.
You know what I've learned to do is, and again, it's slightly different to your sort of the hypnosis that you're doing, but especially at graduation in colleges, in the high schools, when somebody is in a trance and doesn't emerge out of the trance for whatever reason,
Mhm.
I turn around and say it's interesting how this person is still allegedly in a hypnotic trance because I've removed all the trance, I've removed all hypnosis.
Perfect indirect suggestion, man.
Therefore, since there's no hypnosis, we're going to have to call 911, and we're going to have to.
Well, plus they feel silly because they think, "Oh, I shouldn't be doing this still."
Yeah. So
That's a real beautiful indirect suggestion.
so I do this, I go, hang on a second. Yep. We're at 34 Anchor Way. Yes, we're at Johnson High School. Yes, bring an ambulance and a fire truck, and bring a
That's
man. You
funny.
watch them wake up, or come,
That's
not even wake up, but
funny. Or emerge.
come
Yeah.
out of the situation, emerge.
Yeah. So I would say engage the client during the session so they do not just slip away,
Yeah,
because we know that sometimes people need it. They require this rest so much that they take advantage of it sometimes without knowing it. So just keep the client engaged as going through the session. And if you need to, just get loud, snap your
yeah,
fingers, and they'll emerge eventually.
yeah. I agree with you. So Jackie, who had the earlier
Nothing to be worried about.
no, Jackie had the earlier question about the self-hypnotic suggestions. She said, thanks for asking. She's surfing through college, facing some relationship problems, but I think I'll figure things out. You know what, Jackie? Just have some self-belief. You're a
Yeah.
good-looking girl. You're got everything to live for. Don't let anybody put you through the ringer. And just believe in yourself and always think to yourself that you're way better than what you thought you were. You're way
Jackie,
better.
think of
Yeah.
it like this. When we meet people in a physical life, these were spiritual contracts that we had before we got here.
Nice.
They only last as long as they're supposed to. So when somebody ends up getting difficult or it just gets glitchy or scheduling starts to get messy, be aware, oh, the contract's ending,
Mm,
and move on.
that's a good one. I like to say it's outlived its usefulness.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's not personal.
Right, not personal.
And you're never dating up ever.
Yeah,
The way I look at it is you want to know me. And I'm not for everybody. But the
right.
ones I'm for, oh, you're going to want to know me.
Yeah. Even I would if I was a woman. Adam says, I heard when you put someone to deep, I get so put somebody in a trance that they are in the supernova of the conscious world, that they hear what you're saying but refuse to wake up. It's kind of like the same as the earlier question.
Yeah, I don't know what the supernova is. All
No.
I know is people overdo this a lot. It's very simple.
Yeah.
You're either consciously engaged and alert, and you're very limited there. It's where logic applies, so life's not logical.
Yeah.
It's where you figure things out and you won't figure things out, or you're in a trance state to some degree, either enough just to be lightly startled in a busy mall,
Hmm.
or you're watching, say, television, and somebody came in the room and scared the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Or you go deeper still, and now they're not engaged with you anymore. They're in their own place. But there's nothing to worry about here. There's nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah.
Plus, here's how I go about it, so I'm not concerned at all. We don't know what the hell we're talking about. And so Norman McGill once said, one day we might.
Yeah.
And then it will all be able to be explained better. But for now, we just know if we do this, this tends to happen.
Yeah. I always say when people are like talking to me about, you know, all your experiences as a hypnotist and all the things you've seen and everything else, I always say I don't know what I'm saying, I don't really know what I'm doing, but it works.
Yeah.
I don't know the mystery surrounding it, but it works.
That's all.
Sarah says, how do you know if someone is faking hypnosis?
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't. And that responsibility is not on you.
Yeah.
That's why when you begin in your pre-talk, whether it's with a client in your office or with volunteers on a stage, you need to be very, very, very clear. And then the responsibility is on them.
Yeah.
And if they want to act like a jackass, let them. If they want to fake it, let them. One woman said to me once, oh, this just popped up. My very first office, 8 feet by 8 feet. It was a storage closet that I rented because I was bankrupt and I could only afford the $150 a month. So when we finished the session, the first session, I asked her this, that, and the other thing. I said, wait a minute, because she's like, I don't think I was hypnotized, all that, right? I said, why didn't you lift your hand when I asked you to? She goes, well, honey, I didn't want you to fail. So I didn't get upset. I just went, oh, thank you for sharing that with me. Oh, I can't fail, but you failed miserably, but I appreciate you being concerned for me. So from then on, she realized however the response is, just respond honestly.
Yeah.
Or I won't know. I told her, I won't be able to help you because I won't know where we're at.
I think on stage, it's fairly straightforward to find them because they're just overtly they're too sort of flamboyant in their approaches to every routine.
Too anxious to participate.
Too anxious. They're flopping too much. The overuse of flopping. You know, just a bit too much. Sort of immediately in a trance. You know, and all this, and that's kind of when you know. And,
you have an easy way to gauge it.
Yeah, and I normally can test their muscle tissue a little bit, and I sort of. Then I determine if they're a crowd pleaser or not, or a distraction or not. And if I feel that they're a distraction, man, they're off. They're off the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Right away. Ganesh, sorry. This is actually a good question here, Tom. Ganesh says, can hypnosis be used to detect lies?
Yes. Yeah. However, it's not foolproof. That's why it's not allowed into court. And let me tell you a story about that.
See, he's full of stories, old Tom. You got
somebody can. Well, no, I'm full of experiences.
Years of experience is what I was going to say.
Someone can believe something enough where they're not really lying, but it's not the truth.
Yeah.
So there was a gentleman whose father was a pilot in the Spanish army, and he knew Pablo Picasso. He ended up, after they moved to America, he did well, and they were somewhat affluent. So this guy was 8 years old at the time, and these were all original Picassos in their house that nobody ever saw, okay? Because this guy knew Picasso personally. So I was flown down to Fort Lauderdale to hypnotize this guy and record it and see what was up. So everything's going really, really well. He responds really well. And as we're recording, he goes through the house in New York, and he explains them in detail, but then he gets interrupted with a thought, a memory, where he's on Pablo Picasso's knee, being bounced up and down at this table, and he describes the table in detail, which sounded weird as hell.
Yeah.
So when I told the woman who hired me, she goes, well, strangely enough, Pablo Picasso built that table by hand, and we even have a picture of him sitting at it. So we knew that was legit, right? But come to find out, months later, they contacted me and said they did more research and found out that the paintings were not authentic, even though this guy swore up and down they were. But what we tend to believe that he believed it for real, that they were. But people can fabricate. It's not as if, you're just an absolute truth serum and you're going to spill everything. But the blocks that we have Like I did some work with forensic hypnosis where a girl that I had worked with previously was coming in for a session, but she had walked in on a burglar right after
Oh,
school. So she remembered nothing, but what we did was paused it, freeze frame along the way. So she saw the license plate in the car in the driveway, what was in the car. When she was in the house and she looked out, the person turned and she knew it was somebody that went to her school a couple of years before, and all proved true. But because it can't be substantiated 100%, they don't allow it in court. But I remember somebody who hypnotized someone on the street and the girl confessed to cheating.
that's right. I wonder who that was. and
I
she
saw that video again this morning.
and she confessed that she had a shopping addiction.
Right?
Yeah, so you never know what you're gonna get. Um,
But we
Ron,
can't rely upon it. We could just use it as leads
yeah,
for evidence.
without corroboration, you have
Yeah,
to prove the fact.
yeah.
Ron Abbott says exactly, Tom. So I think that's your previous.
Ron Abbott.
Yeah, Ron.
Glad to have you here, Ron.
Cool, good to see you,
Ron's a
Ron.
great.
Ganesh again says, "How did you make your first income with hypnosis?" That's quite a good question too. How did you make your first money when you became, and how did you get your start? That's a good segue in. So how did you get your
Oh, man.
start in hypnosis? What got you in this business?
I'm standing at the bar at the NGH convention, and some guy asks me and another big name in our profession, which I won't mention, I can't believe I got both of you guys at the same time. How'd you get started? I'm like, that's it. So the other guy talks about getting a 5-figure loan and now I've got to really turn it on and blah, 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 right?
Yeah,
So I looked at him, I go, can you get 5 figures? He goes, no. I go, let me tell you how I started with an 8-foot by 8-foot office, a 13-year-old Ford Escort, and
yeah,
no money.
yeah.
I talked, and talked again everywhere I could. This is 1999, so it's before internet, right? At least the early days of it.
Yeah.
So I would talk everywhere I could. Um, that's the thing I would tell anybody, no matter what, because that was the old way of doing content. But when you're talking, it's a whole different engagement, whole different energetic exchange. Now it's a little bit difficult with things going on, but that was how I did it at first. And it's a commitment. I got my hustle on. So I was a full mold reconstruction dental technician. I was working 60 hours a week in a dental lab. I was working 2 to 3 nights a week as a musician, and I was working on my practice. So I was awake like 20 hours every day for about a year.
So
But
so
you keep making moves, you keep moving forward, you keep trial and erroring your way, and things happen, man.
so originally it was your side hustle, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It was my intention to become my main hustle.
yeah,
And I had gone down to learn stage hypnosis. I thought I was learning hypnosis without knowing it. It was in a marketing book. And then I was like, oh, this stuff is cool, man.
yeah.
It's making an effect here, So I learned what it really was, that it was hypnosis. So I thought that stage stuff is cool.
Yeah.
And I live on the stage, man. So, this would be great. I went and talked to a guy, an NGH instructor who was in the city I was living in, just 4 miles north of Boston. And he said, I could teach you that, but he told me about and it's not clinical, it's inappropriate use of the word, the office aspect, right?
Yeah, yes.
And I said, I'm in. Like, I'm in. And that was it. I came home, I said, I'm going to be a hypnotherapist. And you know what, like a what?
Yeah, what is that?
I'll do my day gig, I'll play my music, everything will be fine, but I'm going to extend myself and I'm going to do this. It was just meant to be. It was one of those things where I aligned where I was supposed to at the time.
Nice. That's
And
awesome.
now people in 75 countries have used something I've done or worked with me.
Nice. That's awesome.
It's a blessing for sure, man, but not by mistake.
So Jackie says, so the woman you hypnotized, to tell the truth, was so relaxed or something that she didn't care. She just spilled the tea that she was cheating. LOL. So you know what it was, and for those that haven't seen this, if you look on my video channel, I think the title of the video is something like "How to Catch a Cheater" or something
Totally.
like that. I can't remember, and it's just to sensationalize the video. Obviously, it's to get more eyeballs on it. And it works. There's plenty of viewers on that video. But what it was, here's how this happened. Here's how this all went down. And I'm not even sure if it's on the video. I haven't seen it for a while. But what it was, this girl had called up and she had said that she has a fear of rodents, like rats. and things like that. So bad so that she freaks out, and she'd crashed her car previously because she'd seen a rat, came off the road, smashed up a car. That kind of an immense fear. So I thought to myself, when this like lead came in, rather than hypnotize her in the office, since I'm filming street hypnosis anyway, I was already, out there filming with a camera crew. I'll actually meet her outside of PetSmart. So we're in the parking lot in Orlando, PetSmart, and the idea was I was gonna make sure she. And I mean, this isn't particular.
Go in and see one of the white rats.
Yeah, go and see the rat, right? So we go in there. She goes in there. She goes in there on her own with a boyfriend. Can't even get through the door because she knows that there's a rat there. So that's good enough for me to go, yeah, this is legit. This is not like BS. I want to make sure this is not some kind of prank video or something. So then I hypnotized her. This is the bit that's not on the video. Hypnotize her, remove the fear of the rodent, go back in. Now we're in there together. I'm in there. And we had the camera hidden in a bag. So the camera went in there, hidden with a bag. We go over to the rats. She goes over there. She's having no reaction to the rats. Boyfriend's there. The camera's there. And this manager that's a cross between Adolf Hitler and Stalin catches us with this camera and decides that he's going to throw us out of the store because we were going to get the rat out of the cage. Threw us out. Banned me for filming in a public place, doing hypnosis. I mean, he was a real jackass. I started yelling back at him. He's yelling at me. I'm yelling at him. I'm like, you're an asshole. I can come in here anytime I want and film a rat. I mean, what's wrong with you? Of course I can. He goes, no, you can't come in here and all this. Anyways, they threw us out. So we didn't get the full ending to the rat with her like stroking one or buying one or touching one or whatever. And we're out there. And all I was going to do was hypnotize her again because she told me she had some shopping addiction. And so, boom, hypnotize her for the shopping addiction. But it turns out she starts spilling the beans, as it were, about her activities with other men. Oh, my God. And so the rest is on camera. It's what you see. But so you kind of never know what you're going to get. You don't know how it's going to pan out and how it's going to transpire. And some people have asked me, well, did I help repair their relationship? Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not a relationship counselor. And you know what? If that trust has already been, the trust's been broken. It's not for me to patch things up with them, So we shook hands. Oh, by the way, the police showed up too. Orlando Police Department circled the parking lot. So the guy must have actually called the police because next minute they pull up alongside us.
I wonder what he was doing in there that he didn't want seen.
I don't know. It's weird. So the cops come along and they're sort of like, what are you doing? Filming in a parking lot. Is that against the law? He said, well, no. You can film in a parking lot. And they circled around a couple of times. We got a bit of a crowd assembled. You don't see the crowd like onlookers looking. And that was how that one panned out. So
unreal.
Interesting on the street. People say, I get asked this too, and I know what your view is on this, Tom, but people say, is instant inductions or rapid inductions? I'm not even sure if you do those, do you? Do you do instant and rapids? Yeah.
Of course, sure.
Do you think the suggestions are permanent or temporary? What do you think?
Why? Because you use the rapid induction?
Yeah, because it's instant, because it's quick.
I don't think that matters. I think if you or when you achieve a certain trance state, no matter how you achieve it is what. Yeah. And achieving it is the deal, not how you achieve it.
Yeah. And I think the reinduction, what I know to be true about hypnosis is when you're doing fractionation or compounding suggestions, and if you do a reinduction, the more you do it, the more it sticks.
But that's a different topic.
Yeah.
So if we say, okay, we're going to do a rapid induction or some bullshit 20-minute long drawn out ridiculous induction. Yeah. Okay, fine. You still got to the same place. Fine. But now we're talking about, no matter what induction we used, we're going to start dropping them in and out, compounded, fractionalization, Sure, that's going to have more effect. But that is not what the question was, right? So I don't think the induction matters. It's where you end up.
Yeah.
Rapid and the word instant, folks, is only used for SEO. There is no such freaking thing as instantaneous. It's rapid, which can be 10 seconds, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
To me, what it does is It can affect the client in a way with a little impression, so they really buy in a little bit more and believe what's going on rather than trying to keep doubt it away or rationalize it away. And it saves you a lot of time.
I think they want to experience something.
But it's not for everybody.
Yeah,
Some clients it's not cool with.
yeah. I like them to. I like when I'm hypnotizing someone. I want them to experience something sooner
Yeah,
rather than
wow.
later.
The wow effect.
Yeah, so they have an experience rather than doubting, as you said.
Yeah.
I get a lot of people actually that come and see me. I still do one-on-one sessions. I actually do them behind me,
Okay.
and people come in, but I do more online. But it seems to me a lot of them come in and they say, "Well, I went to see a hypnotist and it didn't work. So now I'm coming to
Well,
see you."
unfortunately, that's too common.
What's that?
Unfortunately, that's too common.
It's very common. So they come and see me, and I'm like, "Well, you're coming to see me on a process that did not work for you. So
Right.
basically, you believe in the process, the system, you believe in
Right.
hypnosis. You just didn't
Right.
necessarily believe in the person doing it
Yep.
necessarily." And you might not have gelled with the terminology, because I like to ask them, what kind of language do you like, don't you like? I like to know how to frame suggestions as best as possible, so I don't say something that potentially could freak them out or block them, or something that they're sensitive about. But yeah, I get a lot of
Well, I
those.
teach that, but I call it learning your client's landscape.
There you go. That's great. Yep, learning the client's
When you
landscape.
learn the client's landscape, their likes, their
Like that.
dislikes, their do's, their don'ts,
Yeah,
and when they say things like, Tom, I said, fuck it, I ain't doing this no more. I will write that down, and
yes,
that's a suggestion because they
yes,
cannot refute their own words.
and that's their language.
So that their language, their
Yeah,
style,
yeah.
like some people want to be hit right between the eyes. They're like, just tell me. And other people, take it easy. So you need to be a little more indirect and metaphorical.
Yeah.
But you got to know your client's landscape.
Totally believe it, which is why the intake is so important.
Yeah.
Or onboarding your client, as the current term is.
Whatever.
You onboard someone.
Whatever.
Corey, good to see you, Corey. Hey, welcome back, man. Corey says, Richard, you need to do more videos on fears. I really enjoyed the video about the guy who had a fear of ladders. That guy was cool, man. Fear of ladders. It's something I would like to add to my profession in hypnotherapy. You know what I find about removing fears and phobias? They're pretty straightforward when you find the cause. When you find the cause and effect, and what's causing it in a deep-seated way. That's not necessarily regression or taking somebody back. You just need to find out where it came from. And in the most part, I've found out that they know where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
I have a real estate agent at the moment I'm working with who's got a fear of lizards and the big ones. What are those big ones called? Not the
Iguanas?
Yeah, that's it. Iguanas. They have iguanas down here in St. Pete Beach on
Yeah.
55th Street or Avenue, and she saw one the other day and nearly ran off the boat dock and nearly jumped in the water. I'm like, man, they're all in there too. So I would run through the house, get in your car, lock yourself all down, put yourself in an isolation chamber, or remove the fear. So I'm gonna work with all over here, but yeah, Corey, to answer your question, it's pretty straightforward if you understand, hypnosis, consulting hypnosis or hypnotherapy, and you understand, the methodology. I think a fear and a phobia is, fear of spiders isn't different from a fear of heights. It's the same sort of.
Well, fear is a fear is a fear is a fear.
Yeah, it's the same limiting beliefs that you can overcome. And I'll do some more videos on that. I might do the iguana one. And of course, me being me, because obviously you got to have a bit of show business in there, otherwise it'd be boring. I'd probably have an iguana like in some kind of cage or something,
Right.
and make sure
Or somebody have one on a leash.
and make sure she's got it crawling up her back or something. So yeah, I'll do some more videos on that. And good to see you. Thank you so much. All right, we've got let's see, Sarah says, what's the funniest thing that happened in hypnosis? I'm going to ask that to you, Tom. What's the funniest thing that's happened in hypnosis in your vast career?
Funniest.
I'm sure you've got some.
I don't have anything that stands out as far as made me laugh or was funny. Some stuff I go, well, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
never know what has anything to do with anything. I don't know, man. I don't have anything that would make anyone laugh. Like, oh, you wouldn't believe when this person was in the chair and,
Yeah, yeah,
they said or did this. I mean, it's kind of funny when depth testing and I get them to somnambulism where it's snowing on the chair or raining or
oh yeah,
whatever. And then I use it. I'll use it not just to have fun, because you want to break it up a little bit and have them have that experience, but then I'll use it how they perceived something and it became real to them. And that's why your fear, which is false evidence appearing real, when you change your perception of it, it's no longer raining on you, no longer snowing on you. And,
yeah.
and all of a sudden a new awareness sets in. But I mean, I've answered my door to take a UPS delivery while people are sitting in the chair, and I just say to the UPS guy, like, and I know I get shoes coming in from Hong Kong or something, and then I go back over and I'll say, and as one door closes in life, another opens, and as the doors are changing in your habits and behaviors, you'll find that this is happening for you now, or something like that.
That's fun.
Like, Dr. Erickson had said, it's my phone call, not their phone call. I could take a phone call and they'll wait for me.
Yeah,
You know? Yeah.
I think.
But yeah, I haven't. I mean, it's office work. It's personal issues. It's not the entertainment
Yeah,
part. But I've done a couple of stage shows, a few of them.
yeah.
It's a
I
blast.
Yeah, and I mean, funny things. I mean, obviously, in every show, you just don't know what you're going to get from somebody.
Right.
I do world famous dance routine, and you get someone all of a sudden doing the splits, or you get some guy all of a sudden, to the shock of everyone
Wants to
else.
be the stripper of the century.
That's right. All kinds of stuff. Um, I have a claim to fame. I actually got banned from the Riviera in Vegas for
Really?
doing hypnosis in the bar. So I hypnotized the guy that every time he hears the word Budweiser or Bud Light, Bud or Bud Light, it's like he's in a 50-year high school reunion and he hasn't seen the guy for years.
Oh,
And we'd just sit there and someone would go, hey, 2 Bud Lights, and boom, he'd stand up and just bear hug them, pick them up. I haven't seen you for years. Hilarious, until security came
yeah.
and said, what the hell are you
Well,
doing?
that's when the funny stuff happens. I did a show once, my very first one, and how I did it is I watched 3 video cassettes, and I went, well, I
Oh,
guess that's how it's done, and I
yeah,
went out and did it.
yeah, that's it. Best way to do
It
it.
was
Get
like
out there.
Paul, Jerry Valley, and somebody else. I watched their 3 video cassettes, and I went, well, I think I know how to do this. So I went and did it. And it was fantastic. But I had this kid have a baby. He was 15. It was a high school, a church thing, and it was high school kids. But here's how the mind rationalizes, right? So he's sitting there as the deliverer. He delivers this baby, and I said, well, what is it, a boy or a girl? And he
Oh,
goes, it's a football.
oh God. Yeah.
He wasn't going to have a baby, but he had a football.
I do like the men breastfeeding. I must admit, I always get
Yeah.
a kick out of that. Yeah, there's
Yeah, I
loads
mean,
of,
whenever you're doing entertainment, it's laughter galore, just because. But in the
yeah,
office, I haven't found anything where,
yeah,
yeah, I just went, you got to be kidding me.
yeah,
That is just a riot.
yeah.
It was more, it could get horrific. Some of the stories you heard and some of the shit you uncovered.
Yeah, yeah, it can go dark. It can go really
Yeah,
dark and sort
yeah.
of, yeah.
That's why I
That,
changed my whole approach. I used to work with everybody, but I learned that's not right either.
no,
I just figured, hey, if they're calling me, I'll work with them. But no, it doesn't happen anymore. You got to fill out a form to work with me now.
yeah, yeah. I do that too. I do a client intake form. There's a process. If I'm not a match, I'll find somebody that is. Yeah,
Yeah. So I get an email with the form, and I
yeah,
decide if I'm going to call them and work with them, or I'm going to email them saying, I think you should maybe, refer out to this person, that person.
yeah. So my friend Jackie has to go. She says I have to go. Be back next Monday. Look forward to these meets. We look forward
Thank you,
to having
Jackie.
you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jacob, good to see you. Says when will the TV shows you made be available? Can't wait. I have a couple of TV projects, Tom. I'm not sure if you're
Yeah, I
aware.
saw.
The problem is COVID messed it up.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
there's everybody in Hollywood right now, and everybody in West LA are actually all furloughed. So there's no one actually in the
yeah,
studios. There's no one. They're
yeah.
just everything that's been aired on TV now is something that was
This
made.
is the TV show.
Yeah, this is it now. Live streaming. So the answer is I don't know when the shows are going to air, but the next step is we go to pilot on alternate reality, but we're just waiting for the world to get back to normal. Some of these shows can take 5 to 7 years just to go from
Yeah,
concept to reality. So the answer is I have no idea. The good news is many other people can't produce shows at the moment either. So we're all
Right.
sort of sitting there on a level playing field.
It's an exercise in patience.
Yep. So I'm just being patient and just seeing what happens and going from there.
Mhm.
Adam says, when was the first time you performed hypnosis, and did you succeed in the first try? I failed the first when I did it. Adam, I have a question for you. Who taught you hypnosis? Where did you learn how to hypnotize? I'm just curious whether it was YouTube, reading a book, live training, mentoring, because the
Hey,
way I
just to
was,
answer Adam's question, in the office the first time, and the next time, and the next time, it all went remarkably well. But just like I would say to people in classes, are you all doing finger cross hypnosis? And you go, I hope this works. I hope this works. And when it does, you go, I don't get how it worked.
yeah,
So I had success. I just didn't know how or why.
yeah. And from a stage point of view, I remember the first time I ever hypnotized someone. It was at a Sweet 16 party, and my buddy was DJing there. And I said to him, "Hey, can I come along and I just want to practice this newfound skill of hypnosis?" And he said, "Well, better ask the mother, rather than you just showing up with a bunch of 16-year-olds, that you're using as practice, if you will."
Especially that yellow raincoat you had on.
And the fact I wasn't wearing. Well, anyway, it's another story. But so I showed up, and
pants from the knee down.
I never forget hypnotizing this girl. I hypnotized this girl to react to Michael Jackson at the time. Anytime you hear, what was it, Billie Jean, you'll immediately stand up and do all this stuff, moonwalking and everything else. And then I kind of forgot that I did that, and I hypnotized a few other people. I thought they were pretending, but then every time he would play Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, just a snippet of it, she'd get up and just do her thing and not know why she's done it. And
you forgot to remove it.
Yeah, and so, but I'm like, oh wow, I think this works. I think this is working. Right? So I don't know.
I think most of us go through that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it takes time to do more study, more research, more trial and error, more experience in the office with people, where it goes from, I hope this works, to, I'm pretty much sure this is going to be fine.
Yeah. And you see, I never had this, I hope it works, or I'm going to give it a try. I was determined. I just knew in my head it's going to work. And
I just didn't know how or why yet.
Yeah, and it's their fault if it doesn't.
Well, it's true.
Because when I first got like Incredible Hypnotist, I really wasn't incredible, and I'm probably not now. But I just wanted to sow the seed that I knew that when I was to meet anybody, it was always, I'm the incredible hypnotist Richard Barker. Very nice to meet you. I'm not going to say anything else. So it just keeps reinforcing it in my head. So I didn't think I was trying. I just thought, well, this is incredible.
I'm not trying. I'm doing.
It's obviously working. Let's see. We've got a couple more comments. We're right on. Got a couple of minutes left. Dover from India. Good to see you, my friend. Dover is here every week. Hi, Richard. It's 12:30 a.m. here, and I have to attend my college online at 7 a.m. Can't be with you today. Let's meet next week. Sounds good, my brother. Keep being real, and we look forward to seeing you next week. David, my man, David Vargas is a good friend of mine. I just hung out with him actually at the weekend, and what I like about David is he has some great. When you ask David, what do you do for a living? He says, I collect people. I collect good people. Isn't that a good thing? And he's also into nutrition and CBD and all this stuff that, he's teaching me about. For example,
Good.
This is...
Get on board, man. Get on board.
You'll be proud of me, David.
This gives you everything you need to thrive, heal, develop, everything.
This is my beet drink. I got my CBD. I got my sprays, whatever it is, under the tongue.
It doesn't come from the earth. What are you using it for?
Exactly. So good to see you, my friend. Corey, do you ever record your therapy? Oh, let's put that on the screen. Do you ever record your therapy sessions for case to show the client that they were in a trance when they say they were not hypnotized? Oh, okay. Do you ever record your therapy sessions? I don't call them therapy, but
it's sessions.
But sessions, yeah. Do you ever record your session in case the client?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I guess in case they say they're not hypnotized, I record everything.
Absolutely not, because if you need to record it to show it to them, then you need to up your game as a hypnotist.
Yeah, I record everything, and that way nobody can say anything happened in the room or anything like that. Because you are
well, for that purpose, yes.
Yeah.
But also, when you record, well, here's what happened. I taught a 3-hour workshop on how to create and market hypnosis CDs, which, dude, I miss CDs because
Yeah.
that was bringing me 400 grand a year. That website was making 400 grand a year. But now there are no more CDs. So good lesson, folks. Learn how to have multiple streams of income, or your income stream dries up and you're done.
Yeah.
So people would say, okay, so do you record your sessions? And I'd say, why? So you can give them the session to go home with. Well, you must have done some pretty shitty work in the office if you're going to send them home with it. No, I do work in the office, and I don't want them going home and repeating what we just did. What I do is I do the work with them that is not recorded. Plus, I want to be focused. And I know as a musician, when the recording light's on, you're not as focused. You're thinking about that.
Yeah.
So I give them something out of my library of reinforcement and maintenance audio sessions, which could be remove emotional clutter, increase confidence and self-esteem, stop self-sabotage, letting go of the past, all of this kind of stuff, right? Or specific, snacking, nighttime sweets, sugar and sweets, alcohol cravings. So they're all recordings I've created, so they're becoming conditioned to me. And when they come back in, it's such an easier go. But not to record the session, only if you're going to do it legality reasons to cover your butt, right? But as far as to record it and then show them or give it to them, no. I mean, that's my take on that. No.
Yeah, I actually do. I actually give them a recording of their session, but I can understand why you do not. I can understand why you don't. The reason I do it is I want them to listen to their session a few more times for reinforcement.
Well, that's why I have the library.
Yeah, I understand. I like that. I like that idea. You're actually delving into your library of products and giving them a reinforcement that way, which is, I think, equally as
right. So the audio session is part of the program, because the program isn't just multiple sessions, and you never use the word package. You don't package, session work services. So it's a program, and in the program there are techniques I'll share with them. There are different modalities I'll share with them to self-empowerment, give them the audio sessions to download to have, teach them self-hypnosis. So it's all part of a program.
I think what I like about that too, it has more perceived, well, it does, not perceived value, but it has
more value and more perceived value.
There's more value.
So you charge, $400 an hour? No. If you want to break down your sessions and divide, but no, all of this is part of the fee.
Yeah. Love it. So Corey says, let's see, where are we at? There we are. I've always been told not to do it, but sometimes I feel it would help to show the client that they were in a trance. I don't know who you're trying to convince, though. You know what I mean? They know
exactly.
They know when they are and they know when they're not. It's.
All right, let's do this. Ready? A story just popped. Let me share it.
Yeah.
Okay. So way back when, in the early days, and I mean early days, my first year and a half in practice. It's been over 21 years now. So, and not just how many years in practice, because some people have been practicing longer than me and only worked with like a 90th or 100th of amount of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking thousands and thousands and thousands from 5 years old to 91 years old and all over the world. So I had a woman, and I would say after the session, so tell me, how was that for you? What went on in there? How do you feel? And then I would say, so do you think you were hypnotized? No. Why not? I heard everything you have to say. Okay, sleep. And she just goes plop. So I went through the stages. In a moment, you're going to find your eyelids will open. You cannot move from your chair. Eyelids open. Try to move from your chair. Well, this is weird. I can't. Do you think you're hypnotized? No. Sleep. Boom. She drops down again. I go all the way to the point where I say, like 4 or 5 times I do this, right? With something different, different suggestion. So then I say, when you open your eyelids, you know you're safe and protected. I cannot move from my chair, but I'm naked. She opens her eyelids and she said, notice I say eyelids, folks, not eyes. How do you open your eyes? You open your eyelids. And she went, oh my God, Jesus almighty. So I said, what's the matter? She goes, why aren't your clothes on? I said, I'm not naked. You are. And she went, oh my God. And she picks up a purse and puts it on her lap. And here, now listen, I said, so do you think you're hypnotized yet? She goes, no, but I think I'll stop right here. I don't care what you show them on the video.
Yeah.
So what I would say is when they're finished, instead of completely emerging them, just have them open their eyelids and ask them, say, do you think you were hypnotized today? No. And then stick them into the chair and say, tell me this. Is something different Can you just get up from that chair? No. All right, well, maybe you're not hypnotized, but something's going on, huh? And so at least get them to that
Yeah.
place, right?
Very
But
cool.
I
Very
just don't
cool.
believe in having to film for proof and evidence. I,
Yeah.
I would urge, if you film, you let them know it. And I think that impedes their ability, maybe, because now they're thinking about being recorded. Nobody wants
Yeah.
to be seen like this.
Yeah.
So that could cause a little issue. But for legality only is the only reason why I would
Yeah.
record, quite frankly,
Yeah.
at this point in my career,
Good. Very, very good advice there. And Corey, that's a good response to the question that you had right
It's
there.
great these people are asking these
It's
questions.
awesome. Yeah, awesome questions this week. Great questions. Ron says, "Thank you, gentlemen. I enjoyed it."
Thank
We
you,
are
Ron.
going to be out of time, but I'm going to quickly roll through a couple. Adam's asking about the first time he tried, he failed, got embarrassed. Don't get embarrassed, my friend. Every failure, if that's what you want to determine it, is closer
Make a
to your
joke of it.
successes. Yeah. You got to get over it as fast as you can, because honestly, it's not really a failure. It's just
Hey, the first rapid I did in the chair, the woman popped. She jumped right
Yeah.
up. I did the hand clasp and I pulled
Yeah.
them and I said sleep, and it failed,
Yeah.
let's say, but
Yeah.
it didn't. Because she jumped up and I went, "That's awesome, Deb." Why? I go, "Because we just found out that's not the best approach for you,
Yeah.
but
Perfect.
I have something better." And in my head, I'm going, "Yeah, what's that?"
Yeah.
You
What
know
is
what
it?
it is? Now, as you sit back there, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, allow your eyelids to close down. That's your backup always.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's it.
Sarah says, "Goodbye. I miss you next Monday because I'll be in Ireland. No worries. Enjoy your trip." Jacob Tanner, have you ever been hypnotized? I have. Have you, Tom?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Tom, David Vargas. Tom, what made you choose this field? Was it a personal experience?
It chose me. I was going to do it as an entertainer already, as a musician, my whole life since I was 10. And I've done all that. I've done the albums, the tours, the rock band, the whole bit. I've done it all, man. And I thought I was going to do stage hypnosis. And then the guy said, "Well, there's another part of this." And when he told me about it, I said, "I'm going to be in the office." Though I've done some stage stuff.
Yeah.
But that's how it started. I was going to do it as an entertainment piece, add to my repertoire.
Yeah, I love hypnosis. I practice it every day. It's just who I am, and
Yeah.
at every given opportunity, I'm gonna do it. It's never gonna leave my life.
Yeah, right on.
It's always in there. So Tom, at this juncture, we've run out of time, unfortunately, my brother. But you are awesome in every way. Very entertaining. And do you have any final words or anything you can offer them? We can obviously put your coaching links in the
Well, I'll
video
tell you what I will
description,
offer,
which we
okay?
will. Yep.
So anyone that sees this, I'm going to know it's from this.
We get a lot on the replay too, so
That they can go to a betteryouhypnosis.com is my hypnosis website.
okay.
Mastervisionary.com is my coaching website. But I also have a very special offer for people in our profession, because I know that they need the help.
Yeah.
And I want to make it as feasible as possible for them. Anyone that that's a hypnotist that wants to do my 12-week program, I will reduce that fee by $1,500 if they mention Richard Barker.
Nice. That's generous.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a pretty big saving. And we'll put the link in the description. As we do, what we do is we end up posting this up as a replay. It goes on Facebook, YouTube, and you reach out, contact Tom if you want to take that package, that training. Just mention me, Richard Barker. Tom, thank you so much, my friend. Always pleasure to see you. Always good to chat to you.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity and the consideration that you asked me to be here. And
Absolutely.
anytime at all, anything I can share, I'm here.
Well, next time you'll be down here soon, right? Just vacation.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that. I'm definitely coming down in the colder weather for sure, and I want to schedule that out.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to head out of here. Tom, once again, thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with this. And for everybody that tuned in and asked all the questions, thank you so much. If you're watching the replay, we do this every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And next week, we've got the New State Nomads, which is a husband and wife that decided to travel all across the United States, Mexico, and Canada in a motorhome. But they almost use sort of hypnosis to get them through a transformation of life-changing experiences, to have them spend their whole life traveling and doing like travel blogs, which is pretty awesome. So thanks so much, Tom. We're out of here. See you next Monday at 2. Keep being incredible. Richard Barker, the Incredible Hypnotist. Peace out.